Good day, listeners. Welcome to the world of Chandamama. Presence of mind, along with decision making skills, are something to be developed from a young age. Our young listeners can surely learn a thing or two from the story titled The Bodyguard. Many years ago, King Veerabhadra ruled over Shivagiri. He was looking for a bodyguard. Many men skilled in the martial arts applied for the job. The king wanted a really able and efficient person. He called his minister and asked him to test them well so that the best person could be chosen. The minister took his job seriously and, after putting the men through grueling tests, he finally chose two young men called Gajasena and Ugrashakti. However, the king needed only one bodyguard, and the minister could not choose between the two. He felt they were equally skilled and strong. So he took them to the king and told him, "Your Majesty, both these men are equal in every respect. I have tested their knowledge and their skills. Both are brave and strong and will make good bodyguards. Now you have to make up your mind and decide which one of them you would like to employ." "All right," said the king. "Send them to me, and I shall decide which one should be made my bodyguard. How about the others? Can they be employed somewhere? Are they any good?" "They are also very brave and fit young men, and we can certainly employ some of them in the army straight away. The others will need training before they can be taken in," answered the minister. "Good," replied the king. "Maybe you can take care of that while I test these two young men. I shall be going to the gardens in the hills tomorrow. Send one of them with me as a bodyguard." The next day, before sunrise, Ugra Shakti and the king set off for the hill district on their horses. Ugra Shakti was well armed and looked very fit. He had a sword at his waist, a bow and arrow on his shoulders, and a spear in one hand. He looked every inch a royal bodyguard. It was afternoon by the time they reached the beautiful hill resort. When the king was resting in the guest house after lunch, some villagers went to him and said, "There is a tiger on the prowl in this area, your majesty. It attacks our goats and cows and other animals. It has made life very difficult for us. We are also worried that it may turn into a man-eater any day. We have to stay indoors with all our doors and windows shut. In fact, we have come to your campsite risking our lives. Please help us and get rid of the tiger for us." The king called for Ugra Shakti and said, "Ugra Shakti, go with these villagers and kill that tiger." "I shall at once do that, your majesty. I don't need so many weapons to kill a mere tiger. I shall just take the spear and will be back immediately after getting rid of the troublesome tiger." He returned after some time, saying, "I looked everywhere for the tiger but could not find it at all. Maybe it has gone back into the jungle." Veerabhadra just nodded his head. Soon afterwards, they returned to the palace. A week later, the king again set off for the same resort. This time, he took Gajasena with him as his bodyguard. After they reached the guest house, once again the villagers came with the same complaint. Once again the king asked the bodyguard, Gajasena, to go with them and kill the tiger. But Gajasena did not move from his position. The king ordered him to go with the villagers in a louder and angrier voice. "Can't you hear me?" he shouted. "Why aren't you doing what I'm asking you to?" Gajasena replied respectfully, "Your Majesty, please forgive me. I'm only your bodyguard here. I cannot leave you alone, he explained. Let the villagers go to the capital and get help from there. My first duty is to protect you, so I can't leave you unprotected. You're insulting me in front of so many people by not obeying me. Do you know the punishment for anyone who refuses to obey my command? Thundered the king in a rage. I am sorry, but I cannot obey this command of yours. I cannot leave you alone. I am your bodyguard, was all that Gajasena said in answer. Veerabhadra did not say anything. He at once set off for the capital after reassuring the villagers that he would send help from the capital as soon as possible. That night, the king sent for the minister for a private audience. He told him what had happened on his two trips to the hills. Then the king asked him to appoint Gajasena as his bodyguard and find a suitable place for Ugra Shakti in the army. The minister was surprised. Why do you want a man who had disobeyed you? He asked. The king smiled and said, Yes, Gajasena did disobey me. He knew that he could be put to death as a punishment. Yet he was intent on doing his duty as a bodyguard and did not allow himself to be distracted. The duty of a bodyguard is to make sure that the king is protected all the time. He ensured that he did only that. Ugra Shakti is very brave, but not as intelligent as Gajasena. That's how Gajasena became King Veerabhadra's bodyguard. Friends, this story tells us the importance of doing our duty with complete devotion, without going astray, just like Lord Ganesha showed us in his birth story. These are my thoughts. Do ponder about yours. Let's meet again with the next Chandamama story. Until then, this is Ramya signing off.